and welcome to this very special episode live of Showmasters London Film Comic Con, coming from London Olympia. This will be off the cuff, very, yeah. So, yeah, hi. So,
So whilst we're here, and please feel free to leave.
Yeah, by all means, don't stay if you don't want to.
We've cleared many a room.
Oh, come on.
We will be updating you on the football score as it happens.
So there is a benefit to being here.
Yeah. So I suppose let's start off with.
Let's start off with why are you on the comfy sofa and I'm on the chair?
Well, because I got it first. but for those of you who don't know, my name's Mark, and this is also Mark, from Smartly Involved, and we host Making Tracks, which is the main podcast for Fantha Tracks news site.
That's right. At least once a week.
Yes, once a week, and when there's a streaming show, we tend to do like what we call a reaction chat, which is basically we watch a show and we talk crap about it for like half an hour. Part of the reason why I'm here is because I am the base commanding officer of Aylesford Base, which is a Rebel Legion base in the UK. So I'm in charge of the guys in orange and blue and the Jedi and the Endor troopers over there. That's our Tantive 4 corridor wall, and we've got the Tatooine Street section over by the main stage, and we are basically raising money for Make-A-Wish. So if you see any of our customers around here, they have a photo, please consider donating to Make-A-Wish. That would be greatly appreciated.
Yeah, and it's a show we've done quite a lot over the years, isn't it?
Well, definitely, good 3 or 4 years before the pandemic, we started kind of doing Star Wars Zone, and it's kind of built up, and Dave Tree, who runs it now, is he's kind of like the main focus of the area, and he kind of pulls everybody together, kind of coalesces everything, and kind of organises it, which is no easy feat, to be fair, because it's very difficult. And like along with the Rebel Legion, we've got 5 of the 1st Secret Garrison. There's a few members of the Mando Mercs, and also Saber Guild doing Saber classes. So like you can register for those every day and learn how to use a lightsaber, which is pretty cool. And Dark Empire, and even learn to swag. So there you go. Yeah. So basically, Making Tracks is a news site. So I'm going to ask you the question mark: is there any news this week that we can talk about?
Is there any news that we want to talk about? It's not a sort of divisive and split the fandom. I don't know. I'm pondering on this one because I don't want to start a riot.
Well, Cantina by Haslab's been backed, hasn't it?
It's backed. It's hit the 7,000, 8,000.
8,000.
Yeah. It's reached its first marker. I think 17 is the ultimate top tier for all the figures. But it's finally got to the first one. I think there's 3 days left.
Has anybody here backed for the new Haslab at Cantina? Is that like anybody a kind of Stars collector? Do you collect much? No. Okay, good. That's
we're the idiots on stage that buy all the plastic.
Yeah. To be fair, we do. So we collect, and we've both backed previous Haslab. So like a Haslab is, for those who don't know, it's produced by Hasbro. It's kind of like their kind of crowdfunding, and they do kind of not just Star Wars crowdfunding I suppose you could say initiatives, but they do like Transformers. They've done other Ghostbusters, or whatever, Proton Packs, and there's normally stuff that I think the fans would like to see them build, but because of the costs involved, they don't tend to kind of like do it. And then when they do it, you basically you're backing it, so you're paying for it to get made. So it's quite a cool thing. And this year it was a Cantina Haslab, so it was kind of like a really detailed version of Mos Eisley Cantina. And I think generally it was kind of pretty popular, wasn't it?
It seemed to reach its target quick enough, and there's plenty of people who are into Hasbro stuff that might not agree that they're doing the right thing. And it is basically a Kickstarter, because if it doesn't happen, if it doesn't reach its target, it doesn't get made. And they've missed them in the past. The Rancor, the Black Series Rancor didn't quite make it. This has made it because you see the Cantina in Mando. It's the classic location. You can put your old vintage figures in it if you want. It doesn't matter. It's the 3 3/4 scale, so it's that little scale. And there's exclusive figures and special cardbacks that are probably worth more than the Cantina itself.
Well, that tends to be what happens, isn't it? It tends to be the the actual figure collectors who will back it sometimes just to get the exclusive figures which come with it. But then I suppose the other thing is, you can, if you're like a vendor, you buy maybe 5 different versions, so you can keep one for yourself and sell the others on at a higher price. So you still see them, maybe like the Katana, which was a Jabba Cell large, and even the Razor Crest, that was a Haslam. Maybe pop up now and again at conventions like this, they're kind of marked up, but it can be quite a good investment.
The only problem I found that we both bought the Razor Crest, and I think we maybe both took it out of the shipper, but no more than that.
I didn't take one out of the shipper, because it's still the main.
I opened the shipper, looked at the box, thought that's really pretty, where am I going to put it back in the shipper, put it back in the spare room, and then it ended up getting sold about a year later.
There you go.
Yeah.
But that's it, I suppose. I mean, that's the thing, like he says. It's funny enough, I was talking to a trader earlier on, and I was saying about how every now and again I go through a cult, and I kind of sell off a lot of my recent modern styles. It tends to be like a vintage collection. I tend to sell it all off, and a couple of years later I buy it back at like twice the price.
But we talked about this in the show, didn't you do this with all your Fancy Benny series?
Yeah, so after Revenge of the Sith came out, I kind of walked into my bedroom and I was like, oh my god, it just looks like a
oh my god, I can't see the bed.
Oh no, it was like a toy shop, because it was just hanging like pegs of just like prequel trilogy figures, and I was like, do you know what? It's done. Like George says he wasn't going to make any more films. I don't think I need to kind of like have this larger collection. So I literally just sold the whole thing to this collection in Germany, packaged it all up into like 3 massive boxes, shipped it all out to them, and I didn't look back until like the other day, and I was like, do you know what? I quite fancy getting most episode 1 figures again. So I'm now on the hunt for episode 1 figures.
Well, if you go up to all the cool stuff, Dave's got loads.
I know he's got loads. I was talking to him later, but actually what I'm going to do, because of for space reasons, I think I'm going to take them all off the car back. So I said to Dave, so look, any big kind of car backs and stuff like that, I'll have those, because
it's a great thing to say in public, taking things off the car.
I know, but to be fair, when I was doing my original vintage run for figures, when I completed that, it was cheaper for me to actually buy some beta card backs for like stuff like Gamora guards than it was to buy loose ones. So it's like, they're so damaged, I might as well just take them off, because nobody really wants them. They're not going to last. So it's like, just take them off, and I've got a guaranteed fresh, brand new figure, mint out cards. Look great.
It's funny though to think that you collect for all these years and you get to a certain point where you think, actually, well, not just because of space, because we're all short on space, everyone's short on space, but you might want to let some things go, just to open up the opportunity to spend that money on something else, or stick to the vintage stuff. Sometimes the newer stuff is in Black Series, and the newer vintage stuff doesn't always grab you in the same way. It looks pretty, but it might not grab you in the same way the other stuff did.
Well, the thing is, to be fair, as a costumer, costumes aren't cheap, so you can easily spend in excess of like £1,000 to £1,500, £2,000. I mean, my Boba Fett, I've got an Empire Strikes Back Boba Fett, and that set me back in like 2016, like over £2,500. So, and then some of that is actually the cost of like shipping and importing stuff from the States. Now, if I was to do that today, it's probably cost me double that, because obviously the import duties and the shipping's gone through the roof. So that's actually one of the considerations, is that you don't necessarily have to be a Star Wars fan and buy loads of Star Wars stuff, because you can do it in different ways. You can spend it on like research shows, or like I said, Star Wars costumes. So.
What if you were starting out, let's say if you were starting a collection now, and you've got absolutely nothing other than the love for Star Wars, right? And it's 2024, and somebody says, start collecting something, what do you think you'd go for?
Do you know what, that's very difficult, so I think,
it's why I pay me for to ask the difficult questions, Mark.
Exactly, well, but that's the thing, because I suppose, if I was to start as a new fan, I don't think I would go for the vintage stuff, because the vintage stuff has got like an appeal to me and to you, and collectors of a certain age, because that's what I grew up with. I mean, I'm second generation Star Wars, so I could have started collecting in '91, but the vintage figures were still the main figures that I bought. But I'd probably say Black Series, to be fair. I think that's the thing, those figures are more realistic, more close, and I suppose it depends also on the age. of collector.
Yeah.
So because I think we forget that actually these are toys. And they're meant to be baby, not necessarily meant to be set on shelves.
Yeah. You saying about taking it off the card, we get so used to it these days, thinking of the packaging as part of the toy, which it is, because I'm 50 brother and I'm probably not going to play with them or set them up like I used to.
Yeah.
But that being said, if I got them loose, if they sold them loose, that's an opportunity to buy them as a loose figure, brand new.
Yeah.
I probably would still be buying more of them. And I probably would be doing the diorama type stuff.
I mean, the dioramas are quite fun. I mean, I did that when I was about 10 or 11, but the little kind of plastic army figures. Yeah. I had loads of little bits of wool and stuff like that, so you could make it look like a bombed out from France or whatever. But there wasn't really the same stuff about worker styles back then. But now, I mean, obviously, your parents would have deep pockets to pay for a HasLab canteen.
That's very true.
But that's one option. But also, actually now, you can 3D print all this stuff as well with resin printers, and the unofficial fan community stuff that's out there to help collectors is really much more accessible.
That's a great point, because you talk about, you come from the costuming world, quite deep into that, and the costs that come with that. If you were starting a costume in 2024 compared to buying that back in 2016, what sort of differences would there potentially be?
I mean, so when I started back in 2007, my first costume was Jedi. Now, luckily, actually, the Jedi costume itself, there's two types of costumes. You've got what we call face characters, and those are literally going to be the characters that you recognise. So that could be Han Solo, Luke Skywalker, Anakin Skywalker, Princess Leia, Darth Vader. And then you've got what we call more generic costumes, which are like your faceless RFT Rebel Fleet Trooper, or your X-Wing pilot, or the Jedi that you might just see in the background of the Geonosis arena but never has a name.
You mean the red shirts?
Basically the red shirts of Star Wars and the yellow shirts, and so the generic Jedi costume actually is still probably one of the most accessible, because actually it's something that is fairly, it can be a little bit customised to the colour palette that you want.
So you could do an acolyte version if you wanted.
You could do like an acolyte High Republic-esque era, or you could do like a prequel era, which I did, or you could just do like an original trilogy era. So that's quite a good start place. But like Rebel Fleet Trooper, that is a fairly accessible one as well. And the X-Wing pilot is relatively accessible, but there's just slightly more cost involved. So it kind of, and what I tend to say to people who are new to costuming and have never done it before, because it's one thing to kind of go, it'd be really cool to own a costume, but then it's another thing to actually wear a costume, come to an event like this, and then stand around all day to pose for photos for kids and for families. It takes a different kind of mindset, So some people actually gravitate more towards, say, like a 501st costume, where you can wear like a Stormtrooper helmet or like a, Boba Fett helmet, and then obviously nobody gets to see your face, and it's not about because you're ugly, but it's actually because then you've got that kind of slight barrier between you and the public, and it can make you feel a little bit more comfortable. But then, like, what we found is that members of Rebel Legion do like open face characters, costumes for a few years, and then we fancy doing a Stormtrooper. That's what I did, and then conversely, members of the 501st. They do Stormtrooper costumes and quite have you. And we go, do you know what? I quite fancy being able to sit down at a convention and not have to, wear such a strict glove. So I'll do an X-Wing pilot. And you get a different type of experience when you're open faced to when you're closed faced. So it's quite interesting.
And a lot of people might not realise that a lot of members of, let's say, the UK Garrison also shoot for the Rebel Legion and vice versa. So it's not. People don't just join one group necessarily, they can be members of multiple. You're a member of multiple.
I'm a member of, Sabre Guild, Rebel Legion, Mando Mercs, and 501st, and proud member of all those groups. And it's nice because it's a community. So it's about really working together to raise money for charity to help support conventions. And it doesn't have to be these big national conventions like London Film Comic Con. It could be a small regional convention, or it could just be like a school open day for summer fete. It's all different. So like when I say like we raise money for charity, that's only one part of it. We do hospital ward visits. We can go and just do maybe like supporting an actual charitable event. So it could be something that Make-A-Wish do, like a wish fulfillment. And the child wants to be Star Wars characters, so we don't do that. So it doesn't necessarily necessarily have to be directly collecting money. It can be kind of like indirectly helping and supporting the charities.
One last thing before we go, because we're conscious of time. We've got a show on at the moment, The Acolyte.
Yes.
In the Rebel Legion, for example, and certainly in the Saber Legion, we would then anticipate that some of the Jedi characters might start working their way into the massive ranks.
Yeah.
How soon do you anticipate that happening? Do you think there will be many characters coming in? There's more detail and more difference in there than you think.
I mean, so that's the thing actually, we're really lucky with the fact that there's so many characters coming out, because there's so many new TV shows for Star Wars. But what the costume have rely on is called costume standards or costume requirement lists. So each costume gets broken down into the various component parts. And obviously, with the films and the TV shows today, you can see things in more detail. So we're trying to kind of nail the details. So it could be that, costumes will start appearing in the next couple of months. It might be 6 months or a year. It all depends on the costume standards and how the debate takes it. So fingers crossed, hopefully maybe next year I might be wearing I don't know, a your costume.
Kalnaka.
I'll wear a Kalnaka.
I can see you as a Jackie.
Yeah, well I was thinking about maybe doing yours, one resigning his costume, so I'm walking around with my
I was thinking of the broken neck one, but
I could do the broken neck one as well.
Well, thanks for putting up with us for a few minutes. Sorry that we didn't give the scheduled programming as usual, but give us a listen, FanthaTracks.com, you find all the podcasts, everything on there, so give us a listen, and thanks everybody, cheers.
And it's still 0-0.
Oh, even better.